We see a penthouse surrounded with many luxurious cars, checking his new golden armor that only he has in the world. He laughs like a maniac and falls, breaking his limited edition Iron Man phone. He gets a message of someone saying, "Pay me back." As he sees the message, he goes to his bed, saying, "Let's make some money. A game that you can play in your dreams. Just think of better sword art online." The game's name is Lucid Adventure. In this world, he is a god, logging in hardcore leveling warrior. As he strolls through the streets, everyone is saying how he took their loot or killed them, and he seems very happy that everyone hates him. He wants everyone to be jealous of him. As he walks a newbie, he asks him for 10 gold. Everyone is shocked, thinking he will kill him, but everyone is left speechless. As he takes out a bag of 1,000 gold, the newbie is thanking him. As he then beats the living shit out of the newbie with the bag of gold, saying he hates begging noobs. As he kills him, the guard NPC comes running, but he bribes the guard and runs away. As we look at this shabby house, as a voice says, "You borrowed 20 million last time, but he's not worried, he'll pay it back." Here we see the loan shark Heart Heater, giving him a SS-level quest to pay it off. He asks his assistant Rim bring coffee and documents. The loan shark asks if that the armor he borrowed money for. Hardcore says, "It's sick, right?" The loan shark tells him that he hates idiots, and he hates people who don't pay him back even more, as he shows the fingers of the people who don't pay his money back. Hardcore shrugs it off, asking him for the quest. The loan shark asks him to sign the contract. The assistant hands him the contract, telling him to read it. He snaps at the assistant, saying how dare she give it in one hand. He signs the contract without even looking, saying that "I'm hardcore leveling warrior. I'm the best, you know what that means." The loan shark says that he has spirit signing without even reading the terms. The quest reward is 40 million gold, which is exactly $20,000 in the real world. The quest is he has to kill a monster called the Imugi, who looks like a dragon monster who keeps attacking traders. He says this sounds too easy. As he fights the monster, he gets eaten by the monster. The snake says that his body is full of poison and he won't survive. Hardcore smiles and says, "Shut up, you fucking snake," and bursts out of the snake, cutting him to pieces. He stands over it, saying it was weak as hell. As he wants his money, he checks his notifications, but there's no quest complete notifications. It says that it's incomplete. He gets angry that he got his armor dirty for no reason, but he gets hit by fire magic, by the people he messed with in the past. They say they were waiting for him to get tired. Some wonder if he's dead, but the others say there is no way he could survive after getting hit by 20 chain magic. Hardcore raises his hand and chants, "Hellfire," destroying the mountain. They are surprised, saying that Hellfire is a wizard skill, wondering what his class is. The entire front line was dead. The leader starts crying, saying he poured all his fortune into this plan. He screams, telling everyone to attack. Hardcore is unimpressed, saying, "How dare you dirty my armor?" Everyone jumps on him, but he dodges it easily. He takes his stance, cutting everyone in one attack. As he looks back, they're a big shadow. He says, "I thought it was too easy." The Imugi died and become a zombie dragon. There was one person who is still alive. It was the newbie. Hardcore knows he's there and says that his attack won't work on him and he's busy, so he'll let him go. But the newbie attacks. Hardcore extends his hands out to block the attack, but to his surprise, his hand is pierced by a small dagger. The newbie's disguise is removed, and it turns out the newbie was a hot girl. The girl says, "Did you think you would remain the best forever?" He gets hit, saying can't move. The girl says some bullshit nonsense, saying how he lost at his own game. Hardcore says, "Who are you? You bitch," and she punches the living shit out of him. Hardcore asks again, why is she targeting him? She takes all of his items, leaving him naked. He screams. She kicks him in the face, tells to shut up. He threatens the girl, saying he'll kill her after he restarts, that he's the first rank hardcore leveling warrior, and asks who she is. She says some cryptic bullshit like, "You'll soon find out, because from now on, you'll try to find me to the ends of the world." He says, "What the hell are you talking about? Give me my items back." She says no, and leaves, saying, Isn't that thing going to wake up soon, telling him good luck? As she's going, she looks back, saying that she heard that if he dies once, all his stats become 1. Hardcore makes a face like she knows how many hair there is on his ass, asking her how she known this information. She smiles and leaves. Hardcore screams in rage that he is going to kill her, but his head is bitten off by the dragon. So now we go to the capital city of the Eastern Kingdom, Yopiland. We see a line in the market. There is a girl who drools at the sight of people eating food on sticks. She came here to Yopiland to eat that special food as she waits in line thinking about the food. Her number comes, but this fat, big, hairy man with a donut helmet cuts in front of her taking the last food. She says to him, "Do you want to die?" and then throws a coin at his face saying, "That's for the food and your hospital bill." Breaking his fingers and sending him flying, she grabs the food saying how she has waited a year for this, and she eats the meat stick like she hasn't eaten human food for years. There's a ruckus in the market as she goes to where the noise is coming from. She see Hardcore Leveling Warrior being held by the throat. Let's go a couple hours earlier. We see Hardcore fight a slime outside the kingdom. He gets his ass kicked by the slime must be Rimuru Tempest. Just yesterday he was the strongest in the world with all his stats max and now loses to a goddamn slime. A bald player see him and helps him thinking he is a newbie, but Hardcore tells him to get out of his sight. The bald man thinks he has heard his voice before. He lifts his face by his hair and smiles like he is going to make him suffer like hell. They tie Hardcore to the city square and tell the healer to keep healing him while they beat him like shit. Hardcore says that he will give all the thing he stole back to them if they untie him. And so the beating begins. They say he will log out if he dies, and he can't log out because everyone holds a grudge against him. And then they make him look like a frog, stung by 1,000 bees. He thinks he's going to kill them, just you wait once he levels up. As they all leave, someone casts a healing spell on him. Scared, he shouts, "Stop hitting me. It's enough already," a voice says, Now. I wonder who turned our client into this mess. It's Heartheater the Loan Shark. He say that he heard about what happened, and that Hardcore is completely broke now. Hardcore says that it's just a temporary thing, but Heartheater says it doesn't matter what his story is, and call Rim his assistant. She grabs him by the throat as Heartheater says, "I told you I hate people who are idiots and people who don't pay me back even more. This isn't a simple debt game. The currency in this game can affect the real world too," saying he'll let Hardcore go since he is a valued customer. The meat stick girl attacks Rim as Rim pulls out her sword and points it at her asking, "Who is she?" The meat stick girl says that this person is my precious person as Hardcore Leveling Warrior thinks who she is. We go 1 year ago, when Hardcore Leveling Warrior was ranked 3rd, a huge war broke out by the Red Player Guild called Nightmare. A girl is hanging by the tree. This girl is named Sora Level 30 at the time, who we have been calling Meat Stick Girl, as she saw Hardcore cut down countless people in front of her. He says to her, "You became this way because you were weak, become stronger, all right?" As he saves her, she thought to herself, as she saw him walk away, "I'll become stronger." We go back to the present as we see Sora fighting Rim. In the crowd, a man demands his weapon from a girl with buttons on her head. She sighs but takes out a weapon from her bag. The man say that he came here to catch a rabbit, but there is a toothless tiger in front of me. As he points his weapon at Hardcore Leveling Warrior saying, "We meet again, I will return the debt I owe you from long ago. Die." He shoots a laser from his spear, but he dodges it with Sora, cutting Rim in half. The Beard Man begins his second attack, but Heartheater blocks it with his papers. Holy shit, Heartheater is so cool. The Beard Man thinking, how can an NPC be this strong? The Beard Man is about to use all his power. Heartheater laughs, saying how could he possibly take a full swing from General Guan Yu? The Beard Man surprised, he knows his name and asks, what will he do? Heartheater says, smiling, "I'll just run away." As teeth come out of the ground, a dragon dog eats them and flies away. They are very uncomfortable in the dragon's mouth. Heartheater explains that the dragon is too fast and they can only ride this way. They reach a house on the Dragon's Mountain. Heart Heater tells them to follow him. Hardcore asks what's going on. Heart Heater says that he'll make an offer that he can't refuse. Hardcore asks Sora if she is coming along. She says, of course she is, because she promised to protect him. Hardcore thinks to himself that he can't let this woman know that he can't remember who she is, because she'll definitely kill him. In the house, there are a lot of little dragon dogs, and a voice asks, have you arrived? Heart Heater responds, yes, boss. He asks if Rim got cut in half again, didn't he? All this time I thought Rim was a girl. As they enter in the room, someone is holding a dragon dog asking if he is Hardcore Leveling Warrior. Hardcore is surprised, thinking this is Heart Heater's boss. He must be at least a guild master of some giant guild. The boss say that Hardcore Leveling Warrior was the first one to hit max level in the game. Hardcore asks, what about it? We see there is a kid sitting on the chair. The kid says, level me up. Hardcore asks what he gets for helping him. The kid says money. Hardcore asks how much, as the kid says 1 billion. As Sora's mind can't even comprehend how this kid has that much money. Hardcore says 1 billion is too cheap, and that he's not some beggar. As Heart Heater asks, what about the debt he owe them? Hardcore says, don't worry, he'll pay back with interest soon. Hardcore says to Heart Heater, if he don't trust him, why doesn't he just cut a couple of his fingers? Heart Heater asks, if getting his head cut off wasn't enough, saying how the pain is transferred to real life. He asks if there is someone backing Hardcore. Hardcore says that's just a groundless rumor. Suddenly, there is a notification saying you will be forcefully logged out. Hardcore says he will be back in a second. The kid says that he will be waiting and also to be careful. As he logs out of the game, he wakes up being carried off by some men. He yells, what the hell, shouting to the people to let go of him. A person in a distance asks if he has waken up. The men drop him to the ground. Hardcore asks if Chairman Kim ordered this. The man tells him not to be so high and mighty, and that everything he eats, drives, and sleeps on is funded by the chairman. The man asks what he's going to do in the upcoming arena competition, now that he level 1, saying that the chairman has placed a big bet on him, saying until he gets his level back, he can't leave. If he wants to leave, hurry up and level up. Hardcore asks if he'll let him go if he has 1 billion won. They leave without saying anything. Hardcore see in the corner of the room there is a box that says narcotics. Hardcore rages, saying, what does he think a human body is made of? We go to a flashback 3 years ago, a man drinking coffee and Hardcore at the edge of the building saying, let's talk this out. The man say, a person needs to keep their promise because if they don't, they're just trash. He throws his coffee, saying they are on the 4th floor, and tell Hardcore he won't die if he falls, he'll just be a vegetable. He pushes him, hanging from the building. Hardcore begs, please let me live. The man says why would he kill him, saying that he can use him as a vegetable for something else. Hardcore begs to give him some more time, as he is let go and offered a contract, saying that he has to work for them until he pays all the money he borrowed. The man asks Hardcore if he knows about the new game, Lucid Adventures, that the Giga company made recently. The man say that there are already 10 million people playing it, so he is saying the in-game currency will be like crypto. He tells Hardcore that he can earn the most money in it, saying he's going to work under him. We go back to the present as Hardcore screams that, hey, don't care if he's alive or not as long as he makes them money. A voice tells him to shut up, saying that he's not the only one here. There is another voice, crying, I want to go home. Hardcore asks if they are playing Lucid Adventures too. They say yes. Hardcore smiles, asking them for their nicknames. Hardcore logs back in as he sees Sora and the kid eating and Heart Heater sewing Rim. The kid asks if he is going to do it. Hardcore asks how did he know that he was in danger, and asks if he is on the chairman's side. The kid says, why would he tell him that? And that he is not with the chairman for sure. Hardcore asks for more money. The kid asks, how much? Hardcore says, 3 billion. The kid agrees. Sore flabbergasted bites the bread. They go to the city to level up. Hardcore says that they are going to a dungeon, so they have to get some things. Hardcore asks Sora to buy some potions, and that he is going to the bank to take some stuff out. As Sora asks, "What about Dark here?" we find out the kid's name is Dark. Dark asks Hardcore that he only heard how strong he is from Heart Heater, and he doesn't know if he actually is strong. Hardcore says, "So what?" and Dark responds, "Prove it to me." Hardcore asks, how can he do this right now, as Sora says, Hardcore doesn't have to prove anything, he is the strongest, you know. Dark say that JoJo's looking guy over there fight him and win. Hardcore smiles, walks to him as he says, "Watch me." We see this greenhead is about to eat the sandwich when Hardcore slaps his head, dropping his sandwich. Hardcore says it hurt last time when they beat him. In a second, he is pinned to the wall. The greenhead says that if he thinks he can't kill him because they're in the city, he's wrong. Hardcore says he can't because he's a good for nothing. As anger consumes him, a guard shows up. His friend tell him to let Hardcore go. Dark says, is getting beaten up by some guy is what he is going to show me. Hardcore says if he really wants to kill him, why don't they do an official PK match? Official PK is a duel that allows players to kill each other in a safe area overseen by the god of combat. Some think that Hardcore will win. Some say that he, a level 1, so he can't win. Rule 1 says, even if you kill a player, you will not become a red player, and the plays get to bet something they desire. Rule 2, at the place of combat, a NPC will be summoned to act as a judge and a witness. Greenheads say that if he wins, he wants Hardcore Leveling Warrior to delete his character and quit the game. Hardcore says if he wins, he wants all of Greenhead's stats. Greenhead says that you can only bet your life and fortune at an official PK. But the combat NPC accepts because of Hardcore's class trait, he can bet anything. Hardcore taunts him saying, if he's really that afraid of a level 1, calling him a bitch, he gets punched in the face the next second. Greenheads say that because of his toxic behavior, many people quit the game after getting killed by him. He say that he won't kill him in a single hit. Hardcore wonders if he was always this strong. Hardcore takes a dagger and runs at him and starts counting. Greenhead punches him and says, this is for everyone who has quit because of him. He heals him and beats him over and over while Hardcore is still counting. It seems everyone in the crowd bet on Greenhead. No one thinks Hardcore can win. A random guy shows up and asks Dark and Sora who they bet on. Sora asks, what does he mean by bet? He asks if this is their first time seeing an official PK, and explains that you can bet on who will win and get gold based on how much gold you placed, but there is a limit to how much gold you can bet. You can see the bets floating in the sky, and all the bet are on Greenhead. Random guy wonders who he should bet on, and asks Dark and Sora who they bet on. Dark says he doesn't need money, and Sora is broke. We go back to the fight. Hardcore says that he's an idiot, and he can't win against him. The number 1. Greenhead shouts, shut up, and attacks, but Hardcore dodges but gets hit the second time. Greenhead is about to end the fight. Everyone is saying, this was too obvious. The random guy bets a 100 million on Hardcore Leveling Warrior, saying he likes people who look like noobs. As Greenhead throws his final attack, Hardcore scratches his on the head and he gets paralyzed. Hardcore smiles and says 100 and Greenhead dies.